Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, welcome to week number 10 in college football. Wide Right CFB's bringing it to you. Our first co-host is one quarter of the greatest college football podcast. He's the pride of the Texas State Bobcats, and he's my favorite football player of all time. Please welcome, he's going duck hunting, Hunter. All right. Our next co-host is the longest-standing assistant to the president of the Doug Flutie fan club. He's the beast from the East, and he says, "Kids, eat ya Flutie flakes." Please welcome to the show, Lindsey Coyle.
Good evening, everyone. Good to see everyone.
Well, we may or may not be joined by cool Jude Santa Cruz. I think he has something to attend to. And Hunter's wearing a dress, I think.
Looks great.
It's a big old camo shirt.
Is it mine? Is that why it's so
Probably.
big? Oh, okay. If y'all don't know, I'm a size larger than Hunter. And when we mean size, we really mean like size and a half. All right. We got 3 people in here. Theo Lombardi says, everybody's got to subscribe here. He loves his
Wide right
bocce
CFB.
balls. Yes.
Both.
We got to say hi to the inventor of the bocce ball. Bocce's blankets and more. Bocce, what's going on? We got the man, the myth, the legend. The ladies love him and the men want to be like him. Brian Stewart. I think we can do a better job of that, can't we? We'll let everybody filter in here. We'll do some winners and losers. I haven't seen Lindsay in a week, so going through my Lindsay withdrawals right now. It's like seeing Elvis for the first time in a month.
I hope you made it okay.
Yeah, I suppose. I don't know. Did you get lost on Tuesday? What was going on?
No, I was recovering from gout.
Gout. The king's disease.
They can have it. It just lays you up. There's nothing you can do. So
Yep, I had it one time and I changed my life, so I'll never have it again. It's like having your toe smashed with a hammer repeatedly.
it's brutal.
Welcome to gout.
Yep.
So you back on the road today?
No, I was not. I guess I
Still
could
battling
have been,
gout?
but I'm still hobbling around a little bit. So
Ah. Yep.
Man, see.
All right, let's get to it. Pre-game, we got winners and losers. But before we do winners and losers, we need to talk about the end of the season because we are in the fourth quarter of the season, and we got some important stuff to talk about. So, the night of the Heisman, I believe it's December 9th. We're going to have a little get-together. I think Santa's going to be there again, if I'm correct. Did you confirm that yet, Lindsay?
sounds exciting. I can't wait.
Is Santa going to be there? I don't know. I have to ask. You're the Santa contact.
I did write him at the North Pole.
We
to get a
waiting for
response from him.
confirmation?
So, still
yeah.
waiting. Sometimes
All
he
right,
waits for
so
the
you-
last minute, but he's always accurate.
All
He
right,
always
are
gets-
you a heavy lean at least that Santa's going to be here?
I'm feeling pretty good about it.
All right, that's solid. So we're gonna have Santa on, galactically known member. Hunter's gonna need whatever just dropped there. That's broken. So Santa's gonna be here. We're gonna on December 9th, after the Heisman Trophy's read, we're gonna come on for about 8 minutes, and we're gonna announce the winner of the Wide Right CFB giveaway. What you're gonna get is you're gonna get a T-shirt made by the one and only Shelly from Lazy South Designs. You're going to get yourself a bocce ball, maybe an F-bomb. We'll have to see how it goes. You're going to get a $25 gift card to Buffalo Wild Wings and probably some other cool prizes that are thrown in there. So what's going to happen is next week I'm going to release a video before Week 11 show, and it's going to be our 1-minute video talking about the rules and everything of the giveaway. You need to watch that video. You need to leave a comment on that. You got to be present on December 9th. We're going to watch the game. A star is going to be born, and then have a giveaway, and then we're going to go off and do something else. So write it down, December 9th. Look for the video to come out next week. The only person that's probably not eligible would be Bocce, but, rules have been broken before. So what we should do is we should have, that's a good idea. I'm not going to bring that up yet. We'll have to talk backstage. Lindsay's like, I don't feel like it. All right, let's talk about winners and losers. Hunter, give me a big winner from last week.
Pending further non-football, at least non-on-field matters, J.J. McCarthy. He, in a lot of people's eyes, he has rocketed to number 1 or 2 in the Heisman standings due to either poor performances or losses that aren't exactly the fault of other Heisman contenders in front of him.
All right. Well, I'm going to give us a loser. And I'm going to say everybody's going to have lost today. This kind of goes to a different sport, but the late, great Bob Knight passed away yesterday at the age of 83. Whether you liked him or you hated him, the guy is an ingrained figure in college basketball. So we've all lost by losing Bob Knight. But with that said, we've gained a winner somewhere. Lindsay, give me a winner from last week.
It's got to be Kansas beating BYU, rather being Oklahoma 38-33. What?
Oh, man. It's all right. We love you. We know you're playing through the pain. Kansas beating BYU. I mean, like the lunch lady beat BYU last week.
I was just getting my lines mixed up. No, Kansas beating Oklahoma. It was a big upset. I think some of us called that, if I recall.
Would that have been Hunter?
Someone
I think Hulk Hogan. I watched the show. I think Hulk Hogan picked Kansas.
Yeah.
Macho Man definitely didn't pick Kansas.
See, they're more than just pretty faces.
Anyways, we may have to get those guys back on. You never know. They may show up for the Heisman giveaway. All right. Hunter, give me a big loser for last week.
Connor Stallions. Photo evidence of him being on the Central Michigan sideline from earlier in the season is fairly damning. He probably will never work in college football again. And it hurts me to say that because Connor Stallions is a Marine. Well, he is a retired Marine, now active college football analyst, coach type. And to see one of our own get cut, maybe, breaking a lot of rules about honor, hurts a lot to see.
Yep. All right, Lindsay, give me a big loser.
It's hard to know who a bigger loser was between North Carolina losing to Georgia Tech or Duke getting shut out against Louisville. I'm going to say Duke. At a 20-ranked team, they should have at least made it competitive and put some points on the board.
Well, in all fairness, I'll throw a little shade at Duke here. Their quarterback's out, and past their quarterback, they really don't have a lot. So, with that said, we'll see what happens. But I agree. My big loser from last week is going to be the Oklahoma Sooners. Wow, you cannot lose to Kansas at all. That's not good. It was a bad showing. They let Kansas hang around and hang around and hang around, and anything they could do to bring them in. Kansas just beat them. At the end of the day, they just beat them because Oklahoma didn't put them away. So that's bad. That's bad on Oklahoma. Oklahoma, big loser. Kansas, big winner. J.J. McCarthy, big winner. Connor Stallions, big loser. All right, one more. Let's end on a positive note. Hunter, give me another big winner from last week.
I'm going to go with Jadon Blue. You know what? He hasn't gotten many touches this season at the University of Texas. There's been some talk of him being not happy with his role in the running back room. He gets, I think, 2 touches all of the game against BYU and scores on one of them, producing the second fastest time in the Big 12 last week, second fastest run time, 22 miles per hour. He scored a touchdown to end the game against BYU for the Longhorns.
All right, Lindsay, give me a winner from last week.
Well, they won big when they had to, even though they just snuck away with one. The USC beating California by only 1 point. Although it was way closer than it should have been, at least they got the win.
Doesn't matter if it's by an inch or a mile.
All right.
All right, that's going to wrap up our pregame. Let's head on over into my favorite segment of every week. Salute to the service academies. We got a pretty big service academy game happening this week. Now, Lindsay doesn't have nothing going on this week as far as the service academies go because Next week, his team will take on my team in the lower division Service Academy Showdown, which we call the Secretary's Cup. And that game will be on likely about 11 a.m. on ESPN. It'll be an early game. So join in and watch. It'll be fun. We'll probably have a watch along, or we may be active on social media. But remember, this is the one time a year they're going to play on national TV. Got to watch that game. So, and it's happening a little bit earlier this year than it did last year. I think last year it happened the day of the Heisman, but it's not going to happen this year. It's going to be about a month early. But that's cool. We'll get to watch it this weekend. My Service Academy team, not named Army, plays WPI. And as Lindsay would say, it's called Worcester Polytechnical Institute. Did I say it right?
Worcester.
Worcester.
A short,
I'm not from
not
there.
an ooh.
I'm not
Worcester.
Worcester. I'm gonna call it Worcester from
Say
now on.
Worcestershire
Then I know it's
sauce.
wrong. Worcester sauce.
Well, it's
Let's not do that again. I might fuck up and say something bad.
the name of the
Worcester
sauce.
sour.
The name of the
Worcestershire.
sauce is pronounced the same way, Worcester, but the name of the sauce is the end of it's sheer. Worcestershire
Worcester.
sauce.
Worcestershire sauce.
Worcester.
Worcester.
Worcester and Worcestershire sauce.
Moving
Like a
on.
rooster? Is that what we talking about? Like a rooster?
Booster.
Anyways, all right. So at 11 a.m. Central Time, the Coast Guard Academy travels to Worcester, Mass. to take on WPI. WPI beat Coast Guard Academy last year pretty handily. Not handily, by like 3 points. So I would look for Coast Guard Academy to really close in, win this game. And then we have next week's big showdown between the Merchant Marine Academy and the Coast Guard Academy. It's called the Secretary's Cup. It was pretty interesting last year. It's the first time I've really watched the two teams play, and I was surprised. I mean, it was a competitive game. And I know that the Merchant Marine Academy was a way better team, but the Coast Guard Academy came out and played surprisingly well. So I look for a good game. What do you think, Lindsay? Do you think that's going to be a good game?
I am looking forward to it. While I would give the edge in talent and athleticism to the Merchant Marine Academy, the Coast Guard does have guns. So there's that going for them.
Ah.
Yep.
Yes. And then, Hunter, tell me about what happens at 1 p.m. Central Standard Time from the Lincoln Financial Field in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, better known as the Link. Who's playing? What do we got?
Well, the Navy midshipmen travel to Philadelphia to take on the Temple Owls. And Temple's been on a real drag. Navy had that kind of had that tough game against Air Force. But I thought they represented themselves well overall, to be perfectly honest. And they've had a week off now to get rested up to formulate a real good game plan against a team that's lost 5 or 6 straight. The line on this game is Navy -7. The over/under is 45.5. I don't think that over is going to hit. I expect Navy to win this game, by at least a touchdown. So they're going to go out. I think they're going to win this game. They're going to run the ball a lot, run the ball, and just a lot of control of the clock and beating down on a Temple team that just doesn't look like they're very motivated to play football this season.
Yep. I have the same thing. I think Navy wins this game handily. I like Temple. I like the coach. I like the quarterback there, son of Kurt Warner. His name is E.J. Warner. Am I right?
I think he's hurt.
Oh. Well, I mean, he's not the biggest quarterback in the world, but he does play pretty well. I like Navy in this game as well. Lindsay, do you like Navy in this game?
I think so. I would give them the edge, sure.
All right. Let's talk about the big enchilada, and that is Army traveling to play number 25 Air Force Academy at 1:30 p.m. Central Time on CBS Sports Network, or as we like to call it, the Armed Forces Network. And this game's not happening in Colorado Springs. No. This is happening at Mile High Stadium in Denver, Colorado. Big time game for a big time stadium. What do you think? It might be the best game that happens at Mile High Stadium this year. What do you think, Hunter?
Well, I mean, did the Broncos beat the Chiefs in Kansas City or at Mile High?
Does it matter?
No. Anyway,
Okay.
So, Army's had a string of losses, 5 straight, just very un-Army-like under Todd Monken. And, they couldn't stop the run against UMass. I don't know how they're going to stop the run against Air Force. I mean, this is one of the I don't like to deride any of the Service Academy coaches or really any Service Academy team, but this is one of the weaker teams I've ever seen Army put out, or at least since Todd Monken's taken over. Or maybe it's Jeff Monken. Anyway.
I think it's Todd Monken.
So, I don't know. I think Air Force wins this game. I think they win it handily. The spread's minus 17.5 in favor of the Falcons. I think they cover it. I don't know that Army scores more than a touchdown in this game. I'm going to go with Air Force, the over, and Air Force to cover.
Okay. So we don't condone gambling, right? We absolutely don't condone it, but we use it as a measuring stick, right? So when Hunter says that Army is the underdog by 17.5 points, and it's only a 32.5 point over-under, what he's saying is that Air Force is going to score probably all of the over-under. So take the over, plus take Air Force covering, because Air Force is going to beat down Army. I think Army is way down this year. I would look for Navy to really take advantage of Army this year as well, and look for a big Air Force victory on Saturday at 1:30 p.m. Central Standard Time from Mile High Stadium in Denver, Colorado. Lindsay, what do you think on this one?
It's not going to be close. It's going to be Air Force all the way. I mean, if Army's having a great day, they'll score 10 points, right? But that's about it. I think that when you look at the analysis and you see the over under at 32.5, take the over for sure, because the spread is 17.5. It's going to be all Air Force, and they're going to walk all over Army. They're going to stay undefeated.
All right. Yep. No Jude right now. He might make it. He might not. We're on the wait and see. Lindsay, will you run the chat for me? Because I got the banner popped up in front of me.
Legend he's on his way to Alex Grinch's house right now.
Yeah. I've been told, we're getting reports here. Hold on a second. I've been told that Jude's going to replace Alex Grinch as the defensive coordinator for USC this week.
It's actually going to be a magic 8-ball and some sand, but
hey, you know what? It would be just as good. All right. So that's going to kind of wrap up our salute to service. I know we're a little early in the quarter. Once we get down to this point of the year when they start playing each other, and, with Coast Guard Academy and Merchant Marine Academy both getting close to wrapping up their seasons, we're going to be stuck with a kind of an empty void. So we'll pick up some other stuff. I'll give you all a little announcement right now. We should have a guest next week of note. I talked to him on Tuesday. It was the first time we kind of had a misunderstanding of who was supposed to contact who, and so now we got all that worked out. It'll be good. And I just told him this week wouldn't be good because we had some stuff to cover. So, and it's even better because Jude's not here. So we'll make sure Jude's here. All right, let's get into conference breakdowns. Now, this week we're going to bring in a new conference, the CUSA. Hunter goes, Dad, why are we not covering the CUSA? And I go, you know what? That's a good question.
And the American.
Why are we not? You want to pick up the American? You can hop on that one right now. But he goes, why are we not covering these conferences? And I go, you know why? Because I'm just not very good at what I do. So I digress. Lindsay, let's talk about the Atlantic Coast Conference, or as we like all to call the ACC. And going on right now, we have Wake Forest and Duke in an absolute slugfest.
Not about an absolute slugfest, but it's been fairly close. Wake Forest has been putting up a touchdown every quarter so far. Duke's been limited to scoring in the second quarter. Right now, Wake Forest is up 21-14. Although I would look for Duke to come back on this one. I would still give the edge to them to pull it out in the end.
I kind of like that. All right. Lindsay, tell me about your team tomorrow night, November 3rd, at 6:30 p.m. from the J&A Wireless Dome in Syracuse, New York. The Boston College Screaming Eagles travel to take on the Syracuse Orange. Who wins this game, Lindsay?
Boston College does.
Yes,
they're going to put up some points. They're going to bring the defense with them. I see a low-scoring game, but still Boston College win by a touchdown. I'd say about 28-21.
All right. As a quasi-BC fan, really what you're saying is you're a quasi-Doug Flutie fan. He just happened to go to BC. Are they just not like a completely different team from last year or not?
Oh, they are. They're far better this year than they were last year. They went through a lot of changes in the offseason, and so far it's working out better for them now than it was. They're not doing great, but they at least have a winning record.
All right, 11 a.m. on Saturday on the three-letter network. That's ABC. From Memorial Stadium in Clemson, South Carolina, the number 15 Fighting Irish and Notre Dame travel to take on the Clemson Tigers. What do you got on this one, Lizzie?
I got Notre Dame going to take their 8th win of the season. Clemson's going to have a losing record after this game. These teams are not evenly matched. Notre Dame has shown themselves to be fairly consistent so far. I would give them the edge and look for them to win by a score of maybe 35 and Clemson 21.
All right, at 11 a.m. on the ACC network, we have Campbell traveling to take on North Carolina. North Carolina got embarrassed last week. What do you think is going to happen in this game?
I don't think Campbell is going to be the one to embarrass them a second time in a row. Okay, North Carolina will win this game fairly.
All right.
Although, North Carolina has had their struggles lately. Perhaps this will be a little more competitive in the first half of the game. But once the third quarter rolls around, North Carolina will definitively be in the lead. And their defense is good enough to keep Campbell down. So I'd look for a score about 35-14.
All right. At 1 p.m. on the CW network from Scott Stadium in Charlottesville, Virginia, the Georgia Tech Yellow Jackets travel to take on the Virginia Cavaliers. Both these teams have been on kind of a hot streak lately.
It is, and even though they only have a 500 record, they're playing better right now than their record shows. I look for them to continue their winning ways and will beat the 2-6 Virginia team. Their over under on this one is 56.5. Go with the under, and the spread's only 2.5. I think they'll cover the spread though, and Georgia Tech will win this game.
All right, at 2:30 p.m. on the four-letter network, that's ESPN. From Accushire Stadium in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, the number 4 Florida State Seminoles travel to take on the Pitt Panthers. What do you got on this one, Lizzie?
The Panthers have no way to stop the Seminoles in this one. Florida State's going to walk all over them out of the gate. This will not be close. It wouldn't surprise me to see Florida State with the first possession of the game and a score and never look back. Pittsburgh is never going to have the lead, and I don't see this contest as being very competitive at all.
All right, our final 2 ACC games happen on the ACC network. From Cardinal Stadium in Louisville, Kentucky, we got the Vatech Hokies traveling to take on the number 13 Louisville Cardinals. Do you sniff an upset here?
No, I don't. I would give this one to Louisville, although Virginia Tech isn't going to roll over. They will give them a fight, but in the end, Louisville will win. The over-under this one is 48.5, and the spread's 9.5. Look for Louisville to cover the spread easily, and I would take the over for sure.
All right, from Carter Finley Stadium in Raleigh, North Carolina, the University of Miami, better known as the U, travels to take on NC State at 7 p.m. This also happens on the ACC network. Is this a must-win game for both teams?
Yeah, and it's going to be a close one, so it's going to be tough to call. I like what both teams bring, but ultimately, I can see Miami being the one to come out ahead. And I would agree with the lines on this one, which has a 5-point spread. The over-under is at 44.5. I think Miami's going to cover that, and I'll go for the under, though, because I think it's going to be a low-scoring, close game.
All right, we're going to travel over to the American Conference, and we've already covered Navy at Temple. Let's hop over to Tom Herman and the Florida Atlantic Owls hosting the UAB Dragons from Protective Stadium in Birmingham, Alabama. Hunter, what do you got on this game?
Well, ESPN's got this game set at dead even, as well as Vegas does. Well, the ESPN's got a slight favor towards the Owls. And I agree. UAB has had some good play and some bad play. Trent Dilfer's working on it there. But I think that the Owls go out and win their 4th conference game, get back-to-back wins. And, yeah. I mean,
right.
I like the squad the Owls have, so we'll see.
All right, at 2 p.m. on ESPN Plus from DATCU Stadium in Denton, Texas, the UTSA Roadrunners travel to take on the University of North Texas. I think they're the Screaming Eagles. Hunter, what do you got in this game?
They're the Mean Green.
Whatever.
So ESPN's got this game set at like a 75% chance for the UTSA Roadrunners to win and a 25% chance for the North Texas Mean Green to win. This is a rematch of the Conference USA Championship from last year. So we'll see how this game goes. The Eagles have, or the Mean Green, have all kinds of offense. The UTSA plays just, well-disciplined, good football. We'll see how it goes, but I like UTSA to win this game here. I think Jeff Schrader's a hell of a coach, and the guy's going to continue to prove that he should be in a Power 5 job. It could be a high-scoring game. I like the over 71. I think that could actually get hit, but I do like UTSA to win the game. But I think North Texas might be able to pull off the cover, but they will hit the over for sure.
All right. At 2:30 p.m. on ESPNU from Dowdy Ficklin Stadium in Greenville, North Carolina, the number 24 Tulane Green Wave travel take on the East Carolina Pirates. What do you got, bud?
I think Tulane's going to roll East Carolina. I mean, Tulane's looking to make a CFP appearance. They have to win out. They have to dominate in order to not CFP, I'm sorry, New Year's Six appearance. CFP is out of the question for them. They have a loss. Anyway, a New Year's Six appearance. They have to roll every team in front of them. East Carolina's 1-7. They have not shown me anything this year that says they're good at football. I don't think that I'm going to see anything in this game. I think Tulane smashes them, covers the over on their own. It's going to be a beatdown.
All right. From Chapman Stadium in Tulsa, Oklahoma at 3 p.m. on ESPN Plus, the Charlotte, whatever they are, travel take on the Tulsa Golden Hurricane.
The Charlotte 49ers. The Charlotte, they had a lot of internal issues. Coach Biff Poggi has said, you know what, I'm not going to let the players act like this. I'm going to suspend them. I don't care how good they are, how bad they are. They're not going to play. I like that attitude from Coach Poggi. I think that's something that this team needs. But it's not going to help them this week. They're going to lose this game to Tulsa. Tulsa got 69 points put on. They haven't put up more than 20 points since they beat Temple 48-26 back in September. Charlotte, I don't think, scored 20 points yet this year. It's going to be a low-scoring game. I want to talk about Iowa and Northwestern being a low-scoring game. This one's going to be a low-scoring game. I'm going to say Tulsa wins this game 14-10.
All right. Then we're going to cover SMU and Rice in our G5 game of the week, and I think it's a worthy game for the G5 game of the week. Now, this is what we're going to do. Since no Jude right now, we're going to split his conferences up, and we're going to kind of – Lindsay will get the Pac-12, Hunter will get the Mountain West, and I still have to do the Conference USA. So we're going to transition over to our next team. We're going to head off to the Mountain West. Let's cover some Mountain West football here, Hunter. As I got your ear. All right. Now we're not going to cover the Colorado State Wyoming game because I came up with a little surprise. I want that to be our second G5 game of the week. I think it deserves the spotlight. Those are two good programs in the group of five. Now there's other bigger G5 game of the week games going on this week. I think there's a lot of really big G5 games, but I like these two games. We've already covered Army and Air Force. At 3 p.m. from McKay Stadium in Reno, Nevada. There's no TV coverage on this one. So you're just going to have to take their word. The Hawaii Rainbow Warriors travel to take on the Nevada Wolfpack. What do you got on this one, Hunter?
Nevada's won 2 games in a row. I think they make it 3. Hawaii, something's wrong with that program. I don't know quite what it is. I thought Timmy Chang had them going the right direction earlier in the year. Maybe just been some bad breaks and they just kind of lost that faith for the year. I don't know, but I don't foresee them winning this game. I think they lose to Nevada. It's kind of a long trip. Nevada's hot right now. They won 2 in a row, playing really good defense for the most part. Last 2 games, for some reason, they decided to play defense. So we'll see if they keep it up against Hawaii. I think they win this game in a low-scoring affair, 21-10, something like that.
You know what you call 3 games when you win 3 games in a row, don't you?
Hat trick?
It's called a streak. They're going streaking. All right.
I was going to say lucky, but whatever. That works.
All right. All right. At 5 p.m. with no TV coverage from University Stadium in Albuquerque, New Mexico, the UNLV Rebels travel to take on the New Mexico State Lobos?
Yep.
Or New Mexico Lobos, sorry.
Yeah, New Mexico Lobos.
All right. What do you got on this one, Hunter?
Well, UNLV had a late loss last week against Fresno State. I think they go ahead and bounce back with a win against New Mexico here. It's -10 is the line. I think UNLV covers that. New Mexico has had ups and downs this year. They look like they might actually be a bowl eligible team, and they turn around and play like dog doo-doo, not like dogs like Lobos are. I think UNLV wins this game. New Mexico, and I don't like this game's not on TV. I hate not putting schools on TV just because they're small schools from the desert, but I think the Rebels go ahead and take this one.
I mean, like, Hawaii should be televised there. I mean, it's college football. It's a billion-dollar industry. We can't scrounge up a couple bucks to put these teams on TV. Kind of ridiculous. All right. At 6 p.m. on FS1 from Snapdragon Stadium in San Diego, California, which German translates to anyways, Utah State travels to take on San Diego State. What do you got on this one, Hunter?
See, Aggies versus the Aztecs, the Utah State Aggies, that is. I don't think either of these teams have really met the expectations they set for themselves this year. I think both teams expected to probably be 5-3 at this point, not 3-5. San Diego State has had a rough go of it. It seems like that Brady Hoke is starting to Brady Hoke this one, and how he has has like one really good year, then a goodish year, then a badish year to a just straight bad year. And let's say they're in the straight bad portion of the Brady Hoke cycle. I think Utah State pulls off the win here, gets off the schneid a little bit, and secures a win against the Aztecs, who continue to slide.
All right. The nightcap at 9 p.m. on CBS Sports Network from Bulldog Stadium in beautiful Fresno, California. The Boise State Broncos travel to take on the Fresno State Bulldogs. Remember, Fresno State also has a V for victory on their helmet. This should be a really good game right here. What do you think, Hunter?
Fresno State, much like Tulane, is fighting for a spot in a New Year's Six bowl game. They have to win this game against Boise State. Boise State, while they are had a down year so far, they did beat Wyoming pretty handily, a team that Fresno State did not beat, and the only loss Fresno State has here. I think they kind of bounce back on that one and beat the Boise State Broncos as they look to secure a spot in the Mountain West Championship game, so that way they can take on Air Force and give themselves a shot at playing in a New Year's Six bowl game.
All right, that's going to wrap up with the Mountain West. We're heading to that other conference, Conference USA. We're going to start off at 11 a.m. on ESPNU from Williams-Brice Stadium in Colonial, South Carolina. We're going to have a good old-fashioned cockfight here. The Jacksonville State Gamecocks come in to take on the South Carolina Gamecocks. Like I said, to be honest with you, Jacksonville State's playing for a lot right now. I wouldn't be surprised if Jacksonville State, although they're an underdog, if they don't actually have a chance in this game to win. Now, South Carolina's favored by a couple double-digit scores, so, look out. All right. At 12 p.m. on ESPN Plus from Elliott T. Bauer Stadium in Huntsville, Texas, better known as Prison City, the Kennesaw State, I don't know what they are. I think the Bumblebees or something like that, come to take on the Sam Houston's
Owls.
Bearcats. All right. I think Sam Houston, if they're going to win a game, it's this week. But it's going to be tight. This is not going to be an easy game by any stretch of the imagination. Sam Houston State has really struggled this year. And they're a good team. They just had every bad luck you can have. All right. At 5 p.m. from Williams Stadium in Lynchburg, Virginia, Louisiana Tech travels to take on the Liberty Flames. Liberty's going to smash Louisiana Tech. Louisiana Tech is not good. They have not played well. The coach at Louisiana Tech is Sonny Cumbie. Am I correct on that one, Hunter?
Yes.
And they have struggled. They're just not good. Liberty's going to continue to roll. Liberty is playing for a New Year's Six bowl as well. All right. Also at 5 p.m. on ESPN Plus, the four-letter network, from Aggie Memorial Stadium in Las Cruces, New Mexico, we got Middle Tennessee traveling to take on New Mexico State. I think New Mexico State's probably going to win this game. I don't see Middle Tennessee beating them. There's a long way to go. New Mexico State is not a bad team. So, hats off to the Aggies here. And at 8 p.m. on ESPN Plus, from the Sun Bowl in beautiful El Paso, Texas, the Western Kentucky, Hilltoppers travel to take on the UTEP Miners. And I'm going to tell you what, the Hilltoppers are going to smash UTEP. This is going to be a blowout. I don't think UTEP comes within 20 points of Western Kentucky. Western Kentucky is going to crush them. There is no way. Western Kentucky also has the better uniforms. And I hate to say it, I'm a proud Texan. UTEP going down. All right. You ready to get involved again, Lindsay?
Let's do it.
All right. We're going to head over to the Pac-12 Network. Next year's going to be the 2-pack. Now, there's going to be a couple of games that are going to be omitted from this. Washington and USC is going to go into our big pick'em, and along with UCLA at Arizona. So, at 1 p.m. Central Standard Time on the Pac-12 Network from Rice-Eccles Stadium in Salt Lake City, Utah, we have the Arizona State Sun Devils travel and take on the Utah Utes. What do you got on this one, Lindsay?
Arizona State's going to limp on into Utah and lose another one handily. I think Utah will walk all over them, probably by 2 touchdowns. So they're going to more than cover the spread. The over-under is 40.5. Take the over. Utah's got it all over them, both offensively and defensively. Arizona's not going to put up much of a fight.
At 4:30 p.m. on the Pac-12 Network from Autzen Stadium in Eugene, Oregon, the Cal Golden Bears travel to take on the number 6 Oregon Ducks. What do you got on this one?
Quack, quack for Oregon. They're going to walk all over. They'll do a duck waddle all over California in a game that also will not be close. Oregon's 7-1, and that's not a slouchy record because they've been playing some pretty good teams. The over-under on this one's 59.5 points with a spread of 24.5. It's going to be all Oregon all the way right out of the gate. So poor California is not going to stand a chance. They're going to be looking in the rear view from the minute the starting whistle blows to the minute it closes out.
All right, at 8 p.m. on the Pac-12 Network again from Gessa Field in Pullman, Washington, the Stanford Cardinal travels to take on the Washington State Cougars. What do you got, Lindsay?
It's going to be closer than I think a lot of people think. Washington State's got a 4-4 record. Stanford's got a losing record of 2-6. But the way the numbers are working out on this one, I think that the betting lines are off on this. There's an over-under of 59.5, and Washington State is a 13-point favorite. Although I do think Washington State's going to win. They're not going to cover the spread. Take the under.
All right. At 9 p.m. on that 4-letter network from Folsom Field in Boulder, Colorado, to the number 16 Oregon State Beavers travel to take on Coach Prime and the Colorado Buffs. What do you got on this one, Lindsay?
Colorado is the team we all thought they would be at this time in the season. They had a great start. Everyone was surprised. It was all the sports world was talking about. But every analyst I ever heard, including us, all said the same thing. As the season goes on, the team's going to show what they're truly made of, and they have. And they were a 500 team right now. They're not going to win against Oregon State. It's going to be a blowout. The over-under 62.5. I would look at the over on this one. In Oregon State's favored by 13.5. They're going to cover that spread easily.
Yeah, I don't have Colorado favored in any game the rest of the year, and their best chance of winning is next week, and after that, I think that's it. All right, and that's going to wrap up the Pac-12 because UCLA and Arizona are in the head-to-head matchups this week. All right, we're going to travel over to the Big Ten, and we're going to hear what I have to say about Big Ten football and everything else that's invited in there. All right, at 11 a.m. at the CBS Network. Oh, great, my computer just took a bomb here. Oh, brother. From SHI Stadium in Piscataway, New Jersey, the number 1 team in the nation, the Ohio State Buckeyes, travel to take on the Hitmen from New Jersey. Hunter says the Hitmen have a chance to cover the spread. I think they will, but I think Ohio State wins the game. Now, do I think Ohio State's the best team in the nation? No. They just have the number 1 ranking from whatever. But I don't feel like they're the best team. If Ohio State had to line up against Georgia, I think Georgia would crush them, although Maserati Marv would have a big game. The Honda Accord would show up too. All right, at 11 a.m. on the Big Ten Network from Memorial Stadium in Bloomington, Indiana, the Wisconsin Badgers travel to take on the Indiana Hoosiers. Wisconsin's going to win this game, but I'm not watching this. This is not a game. I'm not going to waste my time watching this game. This is not going to be a good game. Neither one of these teams have a really conducive offense. They don't play good offense, and their defenses aren't particularly good. But the offenses are bad enough that the defenses will look good, and it's just going to be a terrible game to watch. So, I just like it's just amazing. It is what it is. All right. Also at 11 a.m. on that Fox Sports 1 network from Spartan Stadium in East Lansing, Michigan, the Nebraska Cornhuskers travel to take on the Michigan State Spartans. Nebraska's going to win this game. This could be a blowout. Nebraska's going to have coming out of the box party here. They're going to come out and they're going to score a lot of points. So, all right, at 2:30 p.m. on the Fox Sports Network, or actually it's on Fox Sports, from SECU Stadium in College Park, Maryland, the number 11 Penn State Nittany Lions travel to take on the Maryland Terrapins. Penn State's going to crush Maryland. It's not going to be close. I mean, it's going to be absolutely throttling by Penn State. They're going to run the ball. They're going to throw the ball. Maryland's offense is going to get smashed. This is not going to be a close game. At 2:30 p.m. on the Big Ten Network from Huntington Bank Stadium in Minneapolis, Minnesota, the Illinois Fighting Illini travel to take on Minnesota. Now, for everything that the Wisconsin-Indiana game is, this game on paper looks like that, but I think these are two better teams, and I really think Minnesota's going to come out on top on this game. Don't be surprised if the Golden Gophers win this one by a solid touchdown. So we're going to go with that. Now, here's a sneaky good game. Trust me on this one. At 2:30 p.m. on the Peacock Network from Wrigley Field, Chicago, Illinois. Wrigley Field. I didn't stutter. The Iowa State Hawkeyes come to take on the Northwestern Wildcats. And guess what? Northwestern is not as bad as everybody thought they were going to be. They're trying to play for a bowl game right now. I'm telling you right now, if Northwestern can run the ball against Iowa, they have a chance to beat them. This is a very beatable Iowa team because their offense is very inept. Now, Iowa's definitely getting rid of Brian Ferentz at the end of the year. It's already announced. But the offense isn't going to get any better between now and then. I'm going to lean Northwestern in the upset. So, and also, it's happening at Wrigley Field, one of the great baseball stadiums in all of America.
A note on
Wrigley
this
Field.
game. This has the record for lowest opening over-under in college football history. Just betting
What is it, like 12 points?
Well, it opened at 28. It's up to 30.5 because everyone was taking the over on 28. I'm going to go with 3-2.
A true baseball score for a true baseball stadium. Lindsay, you want to throw out? You're a baseball guy too. You want to throw out a baseball score for this game?
It's not going to be 6-5.
You don't know that.
I'll say 6-3. How's that?
All right, that sounds good to me. All right, I'll go 5-3 just to be the contrarian. All right, at 6:30 p.m. on NBC from Michigan Stadium in Ann Arbor, Michigan, better known as the Big House, the Purdue Boilermakers coming to take on the number 3 Wolverines, and I'm telling you, they already know what's coming. They're already going to know what signs are out there. Hunter's calling it. I don't care if Purdue had a completely different set of signs. They're going to get crushed by Michigan. Michigan's better in every phase, in every position, on the field, off the field, staring at the signs or whatever. Michigan going to win this game. Take the over. Michigan's going to cover. They're going to blow Purdue out. And that's going to finish my segment on the Big Ten. Now, we're going to travel over, and we're going to take on what's the next conference? Let's go to the Sun Belt. Where are we at in time? We're at 44 minutes. I think we just crept into halftime, didn't we? Let's see. We start off 10, 25. Yeah, we're at halftime right now. Let's get over to, let me find the halftime banner. How are we looking in the chat, Lindsay?
There was a question earlier. Brian Stewart brought up the question of who anyone thinks is going to win the national championship.
The team that scores the most points. I'm going to go with him.
James Madison.
Can I put money on the team that scores the most points?
You can.
All right. Who do I think is going to be in the national championship? I tell you what, in 3 weeks I have a better idea. Right now I don't.
No bold early predictions.
Man, Michigan's got to play Ohio State. Michigan's still got to play Penn State.
Too early
Texas
to
has
tell.
play out the rest of their team. To be honest with you, Georgia's got to play probably the winner of this. Okay, so Georgia's got to have to either play Alabama, or if Alabama loses to LSU, they're probably going to have to play Ole Miss. So both teams are able to beat Georgia. Now, are they? I don't know. And then, out of the Pac-12, I have a big surprise for you this weekend. I really don't want to answer that question because that might kind of ruin the rest of the show. Maybe not. I don't know. But I really say, like, this is what I would say. I would really like to lean until about 3 weeks from now, and I could give you a really good idea. So that's my
Brian's going to Vegas next weekend to place his bets. So,
all right. So Wisconsin's not eligible for the national championship this year. All right, we're at
Good luck,
halftime.
Brian.
So at halftime we have to talk about the Heisman Trophy list here. Lindsay, who do you have in your top 5 Heisman Trophy, or who is the top 5 in your opinion in the Heisman Trophy race?
Well, we had a good conversation about this last week because I think there's been some jostling around and changing in the order here. And this week has changed again. I like Michael Penix Jr. now more than I have. I would put him at the top of my list, followed closely by J.J. McCarthy. You have to also bring Jaden Daniels and Bo Nix in there as a close 3 and 4. And who's going to round out the 5th? It's going to be a toss-up, but I like Jordan Travis from Florida State. So there's my top 5.
That's a respectable top 5 right there, if I've ever heard one. All right, Hunter, what's your top 5 look like?
My number 1 is Marvin Harrison Jr. You know what? He's played like the best player in college football these last couple weeks. Every big game, he has showed up for the Ohio State Buckeyes. And I just think he's placed himself in that lead in a lot of people's minds, at least in my mind. Followed closely by J.J. McCarthy of Michigan. He hasn't put up Heisman numbers, as it were, but he plays really good brand of football, and he leads one of the best teams in the country, for a various set of reasons. So we'll continue from there. And then 3, I'm going to have Jordan Travis. He is leading a undeniable Florida State team that has taken every challenge in front of them in stride and put them down. Number 4, I'm going to go with Jaden Daniels of LSU. He is leader of the nation's best offense that plays in the hardest conference. So I'm going to go with Jaden Daniels of LSU Tigers. Number 5, I'm going to kind of go with the dark horse here, Ollie Gordon of Oklahoma State. He has posted 3 straight 200-yard games. If he does it again, he will push into the realm of the forefront of Heisman voters' minds because they love Oklahoma State running backs who run for tons of yards.
All right. Now, this is a quarterback-driven award, right? So you can't ever count the quarterback out. In fact, you actually have to lean quarterback. Now, right now, J.J. McCarthy's got to be probably the Heisman front-runner, in my opinion, over Michael Penix Jr., and you're going to find out here in just a few minutes. I'll put Michael Penix Jr. number 2, but I have had 2 weeks of straight games, or 2 weeks straight of games where I've been underwhelmed by Michael Penix Jr., much like how Dylan Gabriel took himself out of the Heisman race last week with his performance versus Kansas. Not good, right? I've seen Michael Penix do the same thing. I'll put him at 2 because they're undefeated still. But right now, if they lose this week, out. Like, I'm not talking bottom 5. I'm talking out, like out of it. So I got J.J. McCarthy. I've got Michael Penix Jr. I'm definitely not going to walk. I'm not going to turn my back against Maserati Marv, right? Marvin Harrison. Marvin Harrison is going to be probably one of the top picks in the draft. I mean, the guy's awesome, right? He's probably better than his dad was. So I like Marvin Harrison. As far as 4 goes, I don't know. I mean, there's a lot of people out there, but I don't really want to. It's hard to pick a name. In fact, I'm kind of looking for a name. Now, a name that you could pick would be Quinn Ewers because a team without him really could use him. But he's definitely the Heisman Trophy winner of the Texas team. But no, outside of that, I'm going to throw back a name back in the Heisman Trophy, and I think this week's going to prove it. Caleb Williams is going to be back this week. Caleb Williams is going to put on a tremendous show. But I don't want to get too deep into that because we're still going to have the fourth quarter on the head-to-head. I got to school the other 2 that are in here Jude will be proud of me. So there you go. That's my Heisman top 4-ish. I don't really want to lean Blake Corum because he hasn't done anything. And then, Jordan Travis. I can't leave Jordan Travis out, right? But I'll say this. If FSU finds their way through their conference championship, Jordan Travis is definitely going to be in New York and has a high probability of winning. He's definitely the reason why the team is winning. If you watch Jordan Travis play, he definitely is the straw that stirs the drink for the Florida State team. They're pretty good. But that's my top 5. You can mix them up however you want. A loss by either Michael Penix or Caleb Williams will eliminate one from the Heisman Trophy contention this week. All right. Just to recap, on December 9th, I believe it's December 9th. If y'all want to check, you can. That's the Saturday of the Heisman's read. After the Heisman Trophy winner is announced, we're going to go live on Wide Right CFB. We're going to announce our Wide Right CFB end of season giveaway, Heisman giveaway, whatever to call it. You're going to win a Wide Right CFB shirt, unlike what I'm wearing right now. I'm not wearing one. Tonight, you're going to win a bocce ball. Lindsay, bocce ball?
Bocce balls right here.
It looks something like this. Theo Lombardi can tell you it looks something like that. He's got one of those. You might win an F-bomb. There's probably some other cool prizes that are going to be involved. Also, you're going to get a $25 gift card to Buffalo Wild Wings. And I'm sure there's some other prizes will make their way into the giveaway. Now, what's going to happen is next week, before next week's live stream, we're going to have a video come out. You got to watch that video. You got to leave a comment on it. You also have to be subscribed to the channel. Then the night of the Heisman, you're going to have to watch. You have to be present. After the Heisman Trophy winner's read, we're going to have a little giveaway. We'll probably reach into the bucket of doom. Pull a name. That person has to be present. You'll email me at widerightcfb@gmail.com. All the particulars will be in the video that we put out. We'll go over that. You have to live in the United States. It's probably the number one thing because I'm not shipping out of the country right now, unless you live in, California. So, anyways, that's going to wrap up halftime. We'll have more details on the Wide Right CFB giveaway, and the Heisman Trophy, I think, is going to unfold a lot this week. We're going to head into the third quarter. Now, next week should have a big guest. I mean, big guest. No, not really big guest. But like I said, we got some. We got crossed on the communication deal, so we should have him on next week.
Well, we know it's not Bobby Knight.
No, definitely not going to be Bobby Knight. We could get the Ouija board out, though. What do you think?
Hey, that would be exciting.
You want to try it?
Yeah.
I think he'd throw it at us.
Hoosiers.
Yeah. I have a feeling a chair would fly at us, but I don't know why.
That would be spectacular. Best seance ever.
Best seance ever. I left scared.
You thought he was scary when he was alive. Oh.
Yeah. He's really scary afterwards. He's got nobody to answer to anymore. All right, Lindsay, let's head over to that SEC, the Southeastern Conference, and let's talk about some SEC football. Let me let my computer here update. All right, at 11 a.m. on the 4-letter network, that's ESPN. From Vaught Hemingway Stadium in Oxford, Mississippi, those fighting Texas Aggies are going to travel to take on the number 10 Ole Miss Rebels. What do you got on this game, Lindsay?
It will be a game worth watching. So tune in. If you can only watch one game, make it this one. These two teams are fairly evenly matched. How this is shaping up looks like Mississippi, Ole Miss will pull it out, but barely. I don't think they're going to do much better than the spread of only 3 points with an over-under of 53.5. I think they're going to cover the spread, but not by much. And I do give them the edge, but this will be a shootout, and he's going to take it right down to the wire. In a weekend of games that are mainly going to be lopsided, look for this one to be one of those rare, close games that you're going to want to watch all the way to the end.
All right, so we just make sure that we don't tell Jude that we said this about his other team while he was on.
Oh.
We just got to keep the deal. All right, at 11 a.m. on the SEC Network from Neyland Stadium in Knoxville, Tennessee, the Yukon Huskies travel to take an epic ass whooping from the number 17 Tennessee Volunteers. What do you got on this one?
Huskies have already been neutered this year. They're not going to have anything with them. when they come into the stadium to play this game. This one is going to be just a sad. I mean, call the ASPCA. It's going to be animal cruelty.
In the
Huskies
arms
are going to
of an
be
angel.
crying.
Sarah McLaughlin gonna be singing at halftime
She'll
here.
be singing her heart out in the arms of the angels.
This is terrible.
Tennessee's going
All
to
right.
pound them. The spread on this one is 36 points. Yeah, they'll cover that. The over/under is 55. Look for the over. It's going to be a hurting. I'm gonna feel real bad for UConn on this one, but it's not like they can't see it coming.
All right, at 11 a.m. on the ESPN2, The Deuce from Ben Hill Griffin Stadium in Gainesville, Florida. The Arkansas Razorbacks travel to take on the Florida Gators. All right, in a absolute, positively must-win game for both teams, and I mean must-win game. What do you got on this one, Lindsay?
It's going to be a great fight. This might be one of those other rare games this weekend that are going to be fairly close. At least it's going to be competitive, but in the end, Florida's going to win this one, probably by a touchdown. So they're going to cover the spread. Look for the under, though, because it's not going to be a high-scoring game. The over is 50.5. So look for Florida to squeeze it out, not by much, and it's going to be a low-scoring affair. It's going to be a lot of good defense.
All right, I already talked about this game earlier, but at 11 a.m. on ESPNU from Williams-Brice Stadium in Columbia, South Carolina, the Jacksonville State Gamecocks take on the South Carolina Gamecocks. That's what we're calling the cockfight of the year. What do you got on this one, Lindsay?
I got a total sausage fest in favor of Jacksonville.
Oh, man, you're going to
Even-
take the
I'm gonna
Jacksonville
go against-
Gamecocks with
Well, you know, I'm going to go against the betting line on this one, who has South Carolina to win by 50.5. Don't think it's going to happen. I'm going to give the edge to Jacksonville State, but not by much. I think they'll win by maybe a field goal. The over-under is 55.5. I'll take the under.
All right. Now we're going to skip Mississippi, Georgia, or Missouri, Georgia. That's going to come up in our head-to-head at 3 p.m. on ESPN, or on the SEC network on ESPN from First State Bank in Nashville, Tennessee. The Auburn Tigers take on the Vanderbilt Commodores. What is this game? How does this game look to you, Lindsay?
Not good for Vanderbilt. They're going to be on the losing end of another one, and their season's dropped off pretty quick. It's going to continue its slide. Auburn, although they're only a 500 team right now, has way more to bring to the table than Vanderbilt does. Look for Auburn to cover the spread, to win by a couple of touchdowns, but I'll take the under, which is 49.5.
All righty. Now the Kentucky-Mississippi State game and the LSU-Alabama game are both on our head-to-head. So we're going to move to another conference, and that conference is Hunter, as Hunter would say, the Little 12.
Yep.
Now, two of the games from the Little 12 are actually going to be in our head-to-head. It looks like TCU is going to lose to Texas Tech. Texas Tech has got a turnover here against TCU. That game's over. So, Hunter, riddle me this. At 2:30 p.m. on the Big 12 ESPN Plus, from McLean Stadium in Waco, Texas, the Houston Cougars travel to take on the Baylor Bears. Whose claws are bigger?
Well, I mean, in an actual fight, I would take a Bear, and I think in this one, I'll take the Bears as well. I picked them to pull off the upset last week. They let me down, like Baylor always seems to do. They commit a violation. I think they're gonna go ahead and beat the Cougars because they're there willingly. So we'll find out. But I think Baylor wins this game. The spread's -3. I'm gonna go with they win by a touchdown, or not by a touchdown. They win by 1 point. 42-41, because Daniel Holgorsen will try to win the game at the end to go for 2, and they won't get it.
All right. At 2:30 p.m. on FS1 from Nibbert Stadium in Cincinnati, Ohio, better known as the chili. What do they have? The Skyline Chili capital
Skyline
of the
Chili.
world. The UCF Golden Knights, that's University of Central Florida, takes on the Cincinnati Bearcats. What do you got here, bud?
Well, UCF are losers of 5 straight. Cincinnati's losers of 6 straight. Somebody has to eventually win a game because they can't tie in college football. Though, if this was the game, it'd be the one. I think Central Florida wins this game. Cincinnati doesn't do anything defensively that I think that they can stop UCF. UCF's been close on a couple of games here and there, gotten blown out other ways. I think UCF takes care of business and beats Cincinnati in the Chili Bowl.
All right. Believe it or not, the number 21 Kansas Jayhawks and the Iowa State Cyclones have made it into the head-to-head. So we're going to talk about BYU, the Cougars, traveling to West Virginia, Milan Puskar Stadium in Morgantown, West Virginia at 6 p.m. on Fox. What's going to happen there in West Virginia, Hunter?
Well, BYU will be starting their backup quarterback this week because Keaton Slovis has dealt with some injuries. Apparently, T'Vondre Sweat slammed you to the ground multiple times in a game. Does not bode well for your health. So his backup will be taking the reins. I think ESPN's got BYU with only a 28% chance. I like that. I think West Virginia's going to win this game. They're fighting. Neil Brown is fighting for his job. His players love him. I think they get a win to help him keep his job and achieve bowl eligibility for the West Virginia Mountaineers.
All righty. Now, we're going to travel over. We're going to talk about a little MACtion. Now, here's the deal. Most of the MAC teams played Tuesday, right? So, we missed some good MACtion going on here. But just to give a quick recap, Northern Illinois went down to Central Michigan 37-31. That was a pretty good game, actually. It was pretty exciting. Both of these games had snow in them, which is always pretty cool this time of year. And then the Blue Bulls of Buffalo fell to Toledo 31-13. Toledo's a pretty good team. They are not chopped liver, I can tell you that. Now, this weekend, and then the other two teams played on yesterday. That's what it was. The Bowling Green State University beat Ball State 24-21, and Kent State lost to Akron 31-27 in some midweek action, MAC conference. Now, I'm not going to cover the MAC conference for the rest of the night, and we're going to transition over to the Sun Belt Conference, and Hunter's going to tell us what's going on between South Alabama and Troy real quick. I'm going to transition over and take a look, too. Right now, Wake Forest and Duke are tied. Duke just got a turnover. It's 2nd and 21. This game's got about 4 minutes left. It's a pretty decent game.
Well, Troy's leading South Alabama. They got the ball 14-10. They're looking to get that insurance score to put this game away. We'll see if they get it. They're about midfield or on the South Alabama 46. 1st and 10 to go. At least that's the update I have. So we'll see how that goes for them.
And there's about 9 minutes left in the game. All right, Hunter, at 2 p.m. on ESPN Plus from Centennial Bank Stadium in Jonesboro, Arkansas, the Raging Cajuns from Louisiana travel to take on the Arkansas State. Here, let's say this 3 times fast. Arkansas State Red Wolves. What do you got on this one, Hunter?
Arkansas State has had some victories this season, more than I thought. They had double the amount of wins I thought they'd have. Well, actually, I thought they wouldn't have any, so I'm an idiot. I think Louisiana wins this game. I think Arkansas State goes ahead and hits their slide that they hit because Butch Jones, they've been playing some good football. This could be a high-scoring game for sure. Jalen Raynor, of course, is going to be a very hot commodity in the transfer portal when he wises up and realizes, hey, I can actually go win football games. So we'll see what goes on there. But I think this will be a high-scoring game that Louisiana pulls out in, I believe it's Little Rock.
Jonesboro.
There you go.
Home of Walmart. I don't know if that's true or not. I don't know if that's true. I mean, I think Bentonville is actually where Walmart's from. Jonesboro might be where Mark Martin's from. Not sure on that either. All right, and probably the G5 game of the week that we should have mentioned, but we didn't. At 2:30 p.m. on ESPN2 from Center Parc Stadium in Atlanta, Georgia, the James Madison Dukes travel to take on the Georgia State Cougars. Am I right on that one? Panthers. All right. Georgia State Panthers. This is a pretty big game right here. The Dukes are fighting for an undefeated season, although they're not immediately bowl eligible. They could be through some little loophole if enough teams don't want to play in the bowl season, and they do want to play in the bowl season. They'll actually be bowl eligible. They also have to kind of apply for a waiver, but that's kind of how they make it to their path there. What do you got on this game, Hunter?
Well, like you said, James Madison's fighting for that undefeated season. They've been told, hey, you're not allowed to play in a bowl game. I think they go out and they go and prove a point that no matter what goes on at the end of the year, that they are the best team in the Sun Belt. They're going to beat Georgia State. The spread's -5.5. I look for James Madison to cover it. I think it's going to be the under, though. Both these teams are, fairly good offensively, and that's why I think it'll be actually a defensive battle, because sometimes that just happens when strength on strength, and it just kind of ends up being a defensive battle.
All right, you're going to have to help me out with this next one, but I think I can get most of it. At 2:30 p.m. on ESPN Plus from SB Ballard Stadium in Norfolk, Virginia, the Coastal Carolina Chanticleers travel and take on the Old Dominion Monarchs.
Monarchs.
There we go. I knew I was close. What do you got on this one?
I think that the Chants go ahead and win this game. It's a close one, probably a high-scoring affair as well. I don't believe they'll have Grayson McCall this game. Old Dominion took James Madison to the wire, gave them everything they've got. I think they're going to be a little bit let down by not getting that win. You know how sometimes you get really high and you don't get that win. It kind of a letdown the next week. I think they fight hard, though. They're a well-coached team. Ricky Raines got them right. But I think that Coastal Carolina pulls out the win and achieves bowl eligibility as they look on to take on the Texas State Bobcats next week or 2 weeks from now. So we'll see.
All right, at 3 p.m. on from M&M Roberts Stadium in Hattiesburg, Mississippi, UO Monroe, the Warhawks travel take on the welfare-stealing Southern Miss Eagles.
Well, it looks like someone stole all of Southern Miss's ability to play football this year because they've been playing rather poorly the whole year. I don't think that changes against UO Monroe. I think UO Monroe gets off this, kind of a rough patch they've been on, 5 straight losses. So we'll see how they do. I think that that Southern Miss ends up pulling out the win because they've been on a streak of about 7 straight losses. So neither of these teams are particularly bringing any great strength. However, if you're a James Madison fan, you are hoping that Southern Miss wins this game so that way UO Monroe is ineligible for the postseason.
All right, at 4 p.m. from Bobcat Stadium in San Marcos, Texas, the Texas State Bobcats host the Georgia Southern
Screaming Eagles.
I can't tell. I don't pay that much attention to it. Does Texas State do it this week? Do they get bowl eligible or one step closer to bowl eligible?
At home and in the afternoon, it will somehow be 8,000 degrees because that stadium is hotter than the surface of the sun or DKR somehow. The Texas State Bobcats will right the ship. They won't turn over the ball 8,000 times. They won't turn over at all. They're going to beat the Georgia Southern Eagles. They're going to pluck their feathers. They're going to go duck hunting because that's what they're going to do. DJ Kinney will lead Texas State to bowl eligibility in San Marcos. The Cats will win this game. It's -2. ESPN says the Cats only have a 33% chance. I say, ESPN, you're wrong, and I hate you. The Cats will win this game. I don't know by how much or how little, but they will win.
All right, at 5 p.m. on the NFL Network from Kidd Brewer Stadium in Boone, North Carolina, the Thundering Herd of Marshall travel to take on the App State Mountaineers.
Both these teams have had very underwhelming seasons, especially Marshall, who started out 4-0, looked like they may be one of the best teams in the Sun Belt, have had a 4-game slide. App State has fought to get back to 500. It's in Boone, North Carolina. Marshall has had 4 straight losses. I don't think that changes this week. I think it becomes 5 straight, and App State goes ahead and nabs that win that they need to get to 5-4 and kind of place themselves in the right place for bowl eligibility as Marshall begins to really scratch their head and ask what went wrong.
All right, that's going to wrap up the first 3 quarters and the pregame and halftime. But we're rolling into the 4th quarter. That means head-to-head action. The G5 game of the week, and then we'll roll into overtime for the game of the week that does not matter. And we actually have 2 of them this week. So Lindsay and Hunter will get to pick my brain. All right, we're going to start off with the number 8 game of the week, and that's the Kentucky Wildcats traveling to take on the Mississippi State Bulldogs. This game happens, I don't know what time it happens actually. Mississippi State is a 4.5-point underdog. Vegas says it's going to take 45.5 points to play the game. What do we got on this one, Lindsay?
That's Kentucky and Mississippi State, correct?
Yes.
I'm just losing my mind here. All right. It's going to be a fun game. And I like it when 2 teams of this caliber go up against each other because I think that from from the minute they take the field, it's going to be a kind of a back and forth. I see the lead changing a few times on this one. I'm going to go on. I think that Kentucky also has a lot going for them right now, and I think they're rolling along pretty good. I would give the win to Kentucky on this. I don't think it'd be a high scoring game, but I'm going to say like 14-10.
All right. This game happens at 6:30 p.m. on the SEC Network from Davis Wade Stadium in Starkville, Mississippi. Hunter, what do you think is going to happen in this game?
I think Kentucky's going to smash Mississippi State 48-17.
All right. Kentucky wins the game. They don't cover, and I would take the under. In our number 7 head-to-head game of the week, the number 21 Kansas Jayhawks travel to Iowa State, beautiful Ames, Iowa, at 6 p.m. on ESPN. It's actually Jack Trice Stadium in Ames. Kansas is the underdog by 2.5 points. Vegas says it's 53.5 to play this game. I'm a heavy lean Kansas. I think Kansas is going to cover and take the over. Let's say you, Hunter.
Both these teams have fought to this point. Iowa State looked like they were dead in the water for losing to Ohio. Kansas, who looked like that they may be broken by the loss to Texas. Now both teams have had big wins after big wins. But I think I like Kansas in this game to win it. I'll go ahead and pick them 2 weeks in a row. I think Iowa State's fair, but I'm going to roll with KU by a touchdown.
All right, Lindsay. Kansas, Iowa State. What do we got here?
I'm sorry, Kansas.
No.
I was looking at Kansas State. Golly, hold on.
It's all right. And just an update from the Troy South Alabama game. Troy got that insurance score. It's now 20-10.
All right, I'm on contract. Sorry about that. It's going to be a great game. I want to see Iowa State do well in this one, and I think they have what it takes. Although it's going to be such a close game, this will go either way. In the end, though, I see Iowa State pulling one out, maybe by a field goal, maybe by a touchdown. I'm going to take the over, I was hit the under rather, which is at 53.5, and I'll take Iowa State to cover.
All right, here we go. The Wake Forest update on Wake Forest Duke. 2 seconds ago, Duke is lined up for the game-winning 28-yard field goal attempt. So let's see what we got here. We're going to walk y'all through this. I'll talk through.
Anything could happen.
All right, waiting for the snap. Snap is back. Hold is good. Kick is, it's to the right, but it is good. And the Duke Blue Devils improve to 6-3, defeat the Wake Forest Demon Deacons 24-21. All righty. Traveling to our last game of the evening on Saturday at 9:30 p.m. from Arizona Stadium in beautiful Tucson, Arizona. The number 19 UCLA Bruins travel to take on the white hot, I don't know, they're just fiery Arizona Wildcats. Hunter, what do you think about the Arizona Wildcats?
Well, I'm a Jedd Fisch believer, and I think that the Arizona Wildcats win this game. I'm of the opinion, I've seen enough football now this season from the Arizona Wildcats to say had Noah Fifita been the starting quarterback, they would be undefeated right now. I think he goes and proves that he should be considered one of the better quarterbacks in the Pac-12, if not the country, by defeating the UCLA Bruins. It's going to be a tough defensive battle. Both these teams actually have sneaky good run defenses. You wouldn't know it, but they do. And but I really like Arizona to win this game. I think they just do things better, and I think that Jedd Fisch has those boys right and ready to play.
All right, Lindsay, number 19 UCLA at Arizona. Arizona probably should be ranked. What do you got on this one?
I like what Hunter was saying. I believe that even though UCLA is favored to win by a small margin, I don't see it happening. I would be rooting for Arizona to pull this one out by a fairly small margin, but still, I'd say maybe a touchdown they're going to win, and I would take the over, which is at 50.5.
All right. I'm not going to get too far from y'all. I think the wrong team's favored. Arizona wins this game by less than a touchdown, but more than a field goal. Take the over. Make sure you tip your waiter. All right. Our number 5 game of the week, the number 9 Oklahoma Sooners travel to the number 22 Oklahoma State Cowboys. The Sooners are favored by -6. Vegas says it's going to take 61.5 points to play this game, and this game happens at 2:30 p.m. on ABC from Boone Pickens Stadium in Stillwater, Oklahoma. What do you got on this one, Lindsay?
I would take the Sooners to win this one for sure. They're going to cover the spread easily, and I would take the over because the defense is not going to be enough to keep this to a low-scoring game. The Sooners have shown themselves to be better. I think defensively, they're going to hold the Cowboys where they need to keep the win, to eke out the win on this one. But it'll be a fun game to watch because both teams are fairly evenly matched.
I'm going to take the under on this game. I'm not going to give a big opinion because I know Hunter's got a really big opinion on this one. I'm going to take the under, and I'll say Oklahoma wins, but they don't cover. Hunter, what's your opinion on this game?
Well, I mean, this may be the last bedlam for a while. Mike Gundy has certainly talked about this game for a couple of years now. The last game, he wants to win this one. The Sooners want to win this one. Not only because it's bedlam, but because they need to keep their Big 12 championship hopes, in their own hands, as it were, and their CFP hopes alive. I was throughout the day. I've been leaning Oklahoma State, but something kind of tells me that I think Oklahoma is going to adjust really well. They're going to kind of stop the run game of the Oklahoma State Cowboys, and they're going to pull off the win. I actually think that this game is going to ride on the over still, but I think Oklahoma wins this game by 3 points.
All right. Our number 4 game of the week from DKR Memorial Stadium in beautiful Austin, Texas at 11 a.m. The number 23 Kansas State Wildcats travel to take on the number 7 Texas Longhorns. Vegas only has the Horns favored by 4, and they're saying it's going to take 49.5 points to play this game. I'll give my opinion right now. I like Texas in this one to cover, and I'm going to take the over. Lindsay, what do you have on this one?
I wished I liked Texas more because they're at a deficiency, certainly offensively, but they have been doing a pretty good job, even in Quinn Ewers' absence. I will take them to win on this one, but I don't have that level of confidence that I would have had otherwise. They're going to cover, but I'm going to take the under.
All right. I think you're going to feel a lot better when you hear what Hunter has to say here. Hunter, Give us I know you don't like picking Texas here, but give Longhorn fans a reason to hope on this one.
And don't say there's always next year.
I don't know. This game's hard, right? It's always hard for me to pick Texas. I hate doing it, but I have to. The key to the game will be Texas' ability to stop the run, which they've done well this year. Kansas State's run the ball really well though this year. This is 2 very good teams. It's going to be a very hard fought game, and I just hope Texas wins. At this point, if you ask me to pick, I would say pick a tie.
Hunter will feel a lot better at 2:30 p.m. after Texas wins this game. Just remember a few things here. Texas has won the last 6 meetings versus Kansas State, and when they were picked as the underdog, they won. When they were picked as favorite, they won by a lot. This kind of plays into what Texas does well. Texas defends the run very well. Kansas State likes to run the ball. Kansas State has a very undersized defensive line, and they have a couple walk-ons playing on the defensive line. Kind of favors Texas' ability to run the football. So I would say that, but look for that. All right, we're going to move on to our number 3 game of the week from – I got to scroll and see where this place is. I know where it is, but, me being the aficionado, I'm not. From Sanford Stadium in Athens, Georgia, at 2:30 p.m. on the CBS, the main network. The number 12 Missouri Tigers travel to take on the number 2 Georgia Bulldogs. Hunter, what do you think of these Georgia Bulldogs are going to do?
It's no contest. What Missouri is strong at is something that Georgia is unstoppable at defeating. The defensive backs Georgia has wheeled out year after year these last 4 years under Kirby Smart have been phenomenal. I see nothing changing this week. I think Georgia goes, and all this hype about how Missouri could do it. Sure, they could in NCAA 14. I think Georgia smashes the Missouri Tigers. Call it a beatdown, 49-17.
All right, Lindsay. Does Missouri stand a chance in your eyes against Georgia?
It could be the upset of the week, but it won't be. Georgia's got it all over them. There's not going to be any question in my mind. They're more than going to cover the spread at 15.5, and at an over-under of 55.5, go for the over. It's all Georgia all the way on this one.
All right, the Missouri Tigers are going to be flying high until kickoff, and then they're going to get beat down. Georgia's defense is going to deliver a grade A butt whooping. Georgia is going to be the number one team in the nation next week, just based off this performance alone. They cover. They take the over. Georgia may cover the spread with their own score. Georgia's going to have a big week. Just watch out. All right, we're going to move up to our number 2 game of the week, and I tell you what, if you're a college football fan, I'm going to bring you up 2 names, and these 2 names are going to mean something to you. Number 14 LSU travels to Tuscaloosa, Alabama, to take on the number 8 Alabama Crimson Tide. This is a massive game. I mean, like, what a treat. This whole weekend's got just chock full of just really, really great games. Hunter, what do you think is going to happen at 6:45 p.m. on CBS from Brian Denny?
I think a total of 100-something points will be scored. What Alabama does really well is throw it deep. They are the best team at throwing the ball deep in the entire country. Jalen Milroe is the best deep ball thrower. He struggled a lot in the intermediate and the short game, but the deep balls where he excels. LSU has struggled to defend the deep game and really most everything so far. I think that this is going to be a high-scoring affair. However, I have never done this, and I could regret it. I'm going to take the Tigers to win in Tuscaloosa. I don't think at the beginning of the year I would have said absolutely before we saw LSU lose to Ole Miss and to and Florida State. But you know what? I feel like LSU is going to win this game in Tuscaloosa. Brian Kelly's got Nick Saban's number. He's going to dial it up. I'm going to go with LSU 63, Alabama 56.
All right, Lindsay. Give some of the
Picking
fans
LSU to win this one does not feel as weird as I would have thought. So I'm going to go ahead and do it, and I'll go against the line on this one. LSU is going to have an edge over Alabama, who has really shown themselves to be fairly mortal this year. Even though they've got a very good winning record, it's not going to be enough to stand up against LSU. The over-under on this one is 61.5. I'll take the under and LSU to win.
All right. I'm going to go against the grain here. I'm going to pick Alabama. And the reason I'm going to pick Alabama is Jalen Milroe. Jalen Milroe is going to throw for 250 yards. He's going to run for another 200 yards. It'll resemble something similar to Vince Young in the 2005 to the 06 Rose Bowl, wherever he won the national championship for the Texas Longhorns. You're going to see Jalen Milroe play like that. He's going to be all over the field. Jalen Daniels, if you want to see some phenomenal quarterback play, this weekend is going to be the game. I'm picking Alabama to cover. Alabama in the over. Write it down. Cover and the over. And you're going to see Milroe throw at least 2 passes over 35 yards for touchdowns. All righty. This leads us to the number 1 game of the week. And I'm going to call it the upset of the week because I'm picking the upset on this one. The number 5 Washington Huskies travel to the Coliseum to take on the number 20 USC Trojans. The Dogs are favored by -3, and Vegas says it's going to take 76.5 points to play this game. Lindsay, give Jude something to hope for.
I wish I could. I like the Huskies on this one. USC has, like Alabama, shown themselves to be pretty mortal this year. Even though they've got a very good record, Washington has that much better record behind them with the advantage coming into this game. I do look for them to win outright. And is it strange to say I'll take the over of 76.5? No, but I will.
All right, I'm going to steal Hunter's thunder here. I'm going to pick the upset. USC is going to win this game, and USC's defense is going to be the reason why they win this game. Because the one thing that USC's defense can do is defend the pass. The one thing they can't do is defend the run. They don't have to worry about the run. Washington can't run the ball. They're not going to be able to run the ball against USC. They're going to get down multiple scores, and they're going to be forced to throw. USC's defense is going to be much better this week. Look for Caleb Williams to re-enter the Heisman Trophy. Now, USC is not going to win by like 40 or 50 points. They're going to win by like 14 points. But take the over. This might be the first 100-point game of the year. Hunter, what do you think about our number one game of the week?
Well, I'm going to say this is another game that I think is going to have about 100-something points scored in it. And, yep, you took my thunder. I know I wasn't going to say it's based on the defense. It's based off the fact that Washington's been playing fast and loose these last couple of weeks with the wins, barely beating Arizona State, barely beating Stanford. Their defense has looked like it's forgotten what football is. Michael Penix Jr. has been the only offense, in terms of at the generation of the snap for the Huskies. Their ability to run the ball has been lackluster, actually non-existent. I think that it's going to be a high-scoring game. I'm going to actually go ahead and say I'm going to go with the same score I went with LSU Alabama. So this time it's USC 63. It's Washington 56. It's the over-betters. Wet dream.
All right. That's going to wrap up our top 8 for the week, our top 8 games of the week. Now, we're going to slide over to the game G5 game of the week. This means the group of 5. The teams that aren't in the Power 5, it's the group of 5. We're going to start with our consolation game of the week. The Colorado State Rams travel to take on the Wyoming Cowboys.
Cowboys.
Yeah, Cowboys. Well, that's a funny story. We need to tell that story sometime, too. All right. Wyoming's a minus 5.5 favorite here, and Vegas says it's going to take 41.5 points to play. Colorado State's looked good this year, but they've found ways to lose games late. What do you think on this one, Lindsay?
Yeah, they found ways to lose late. I kind of like the line on this one, but I'll take the Cowboys. They're going to cover the spread, but I'll take the under because I see it a fairly low scoring game.
All right, Hunter, what do you think on this one?
I like the Cowboys to win this game. Colorado State's going to probably play a little bit to the Cowboys' hands with throwing the ball around the yard a little too much. I think the Cowboys get some interceptions, get some pressure on the quarterback, and they're going to run the ball. They're going to slow the game down a lot. They're going to make it real hard for the Colorado State to keep pace, or for Colorado State to kind of get in rhythm. How passing teams need to do. I'm going to go with a low-scoring game of Wyoming 17, Colorado State 13.
Well, I can tell you what I'm doing at 7 p.m. tomorrow night. I'm going to be watching CBS Sports Network. The game happening at Jonah Field at War Memorial Stadium in Laramie, Wyoming. I want to watch the Wyoming Cowboys take down the Colorado State Rams, but they're not going to cover, and it's going to be under. It's going to be windy. It's going to be cold. It's going to be everything that Wyoming is 9 months out of the year. Colorado State plays in the same weather. They play at the same-ish altitude. It's going to be an absolute ruckus. It's going to be a good game. All right, in our G5 game of the week, My Little Ponies, the SMU Mustangs travel to take on the Rice Owls. Now, SMU's a 12.5-point favorite. Vegas says it's going to be 59.5 points. I'm going to tell Vegas they're out of their mind. This is going to be a 100-point game. SMU's going to win, but it's only going to be by about 30 points. I'm kidding. I don't know what the score is going to be, but I'm going to take the way over. Lindsay, do you think the way over on this game is appropriate?
For some, I will take the over, but not by that much. I'd say maybe the win by a couple of touchdowns. Right now, it's 12.5 points the Mustangs are favored by, but I'll take the under, which is at 59.5. I like the Mustangs over the Owls on this.
All righty. Hunter, what do you got on this one?
Well, these are two teams that kind of score a lot of points in different ways. SMU scores a lot of points through the air. They like to just sling the rock all over the yard, and they're pretty good at it. Rice likes to do a lot of, classic Andrew Luck style Stanford. They still throw the ball quite a bit, but they run the ball a lot too. And they kind of build a lot of their passing game from the run. And I think that SMU is a little weak against the run. That hasn't been really been able to exploit it because they played some bad teams these last few weeks. I like this game, and I like the Rice Owls in this game, 42 to SMU's 35. It's going to be a high-scoring game. I don't know if it hits that 100-point mark, but it could. It's another game that very well could of the 3 this week that we've talked about. So we'll see. But I like Rice in this game a lot.
All right, you guys ready for the worst 5 minutes in podcast history?
I was
It's the
born
game of the week that does not matter, and y'all get to pick 2 games actually.
Ooh.
So I think Hunter will be able to figure one of them out for sure, possibly 2. All right, y'all ready to start? We'll start with Lindsay. Lindsay, you first.
Charlotte and Tulsa.
Oh my God, you picked it right off the bat.
Woo!
All right,
Feels
Hunter.
great, not
Now
gonna
that
lie,
Lindsay's,
I'd like to
now
thank
that
my mother,
Lindsay's-
my father. I'd like to thank my producers. It's a great night.
Man.
I'm telling you, I have it written down right here with the other game of the week that does not matter. I mean, just nailed it out of the sack. All right, Hunter,
man.
what's the second game of the week that does not matter?
Hawaii at Nevada?
No.
Fuck.
Lindsay, can you go 2 for 2?
I can if you wrote on your little paper Louisiana Tech and Liberty.
Nope. Not that one. Ah. Hunter, what do you got on this?
Kennesaw State at Sam Houston.
Nope. I told you earlier that one
Damn.
wouldn't even be there.
Wow.
All right, Lindsay.
Oh,
How
see it.
about Wisconsin and Indiana?
No, Hunter's got it right now. I know he does.
Oh,
Merrimack at UMass.
No, come on,
What?
man.
It doesn't matter at all. Both those teams are dog shit.
you gotta try a little harder. All right, Lindsay, try number 4.
I'm going to go the other way in this one. It doesn't matter because it's not even going to be close, and it's not going to affect the standings and all. Ohio State and Rutgers.
No.
Hmm.
Hunter,
UL Monroe at Southern Miss.
no. Lindsay,
Florida Atlantic and UAB.
no.
Hmm.
Hunter,
H-Town and Baylor.
no. I can't believe you missed it. You should have nailed this one the second you saw it. All right, Lindsay.
Does one team rhyme with Flanderbilt?
No.
Ah,
So
it's not Auburn.
Iowa
Vanderbilt.
at Northwestern.
no.
But-
Lindsay,
It's got to be none other than Middle Tennessee and New Mexico State.
no.
Uh,
Hunter. Just
Purdue at
all right.
Michigan.
What?
Purdue at Michigan.
No. All right. Relax on your pick. You need to look at the schedule, and it'll come to you. I'm telling you.
I don't-
You'll know that you're going to kick yourself in the butt on this one. All right, Lindsay. Try to beat Hunter.
South Florida and Memphis.
No. All right, Hunter. Did you study the schedule?
I don't even know, man. UCF and freaking whoever the hell. Cincinnati.
No.
Okay. All right.
Lindsay.
I think
Brian
we said
Stewart, no.
these already. Oh, of course, it's so obvious. I can't believe I didn't see it before. But the game that does not matter is Purdue and Michigan.
No. Hunter just said it too.
UConn at Tennessee.
No.
All right.
Houston Baylor.
No.
I already said that.
I don't
He
know.
already said it.
I'm not keeping track of what we already said.
Maybe some people in the comments will get it.
Just to feel good, I'm going to say my first guess. Charlotte and Tulsa.
You already got that one.
Going to the well
Hunter.
again.
Illinois and Minnesota.
No. I don't know how you're missing this.
Army
There
Air
should
Force.
be a dead. No. Come on. I would never pick that
I've guessed
for a
every
game of the week
team
that
that's
doesn't-
both ineligible, and they've all been no. So, meh.
You missed it. I'm telling you, you're missing it right now.
Utah State, San Diego State.
Not even close. Lindsay.
So it's not Utah State and San Diego State.
No. No. You gotta pick another one. I've got it written down. I'm not making this up. I'm not surfing teams on this one. I have it written down. I can prove it.
Penn State, Maryland.
Nope. Hunter.
Campbell, North Carolina.
How did you not get it? I mean, like the Campbell Camels. I mean, come on, Hunter. You feel like a goon right now, don't you?
No, I just think you're wrong.
This is a game of the week that doesn't matter. Why is UNC playing Campbell in
It's
the middle of the
It's not the
season?
game that doesn't matter.
That game
It's the
matters
game that we
more
think doesn't matter
than
to Cavs.
Merrimack at UMass.
Hey, look, the only reason I didn't pick your Merrimack UMass is I didn't see it. But I tell you what, I saw the Campbell and the UNC game. I go, Hunter's going to nail this one right away. Like, when Lindsay said Charlotte and Tulsa, I was like, oh my God, we're going to have back-to-back. Hunter's going to see it. He's like, I got this. You know, like, this is exactly right up Dad's alley right here.
Crazy thing. 3 North Carolina teams on the week of the games of the week that don't matter.
Hey, you know what I mean? It's the game of the week that doesn't matter from a state that doesn't matter. Ooh, I'm kidding.
At least no basketball.
I'm only serious. All right. Well, that's going to wrap the show up. Thank you for everybody showing up. And remember, remember to say hi to our buddy Jude when you see him later on this week. Hunter, since you were first, I'll let you go first out. Oh, no, I actually removed him from the deal. Oh, sorry,
Kick
bud.
me out.
I hit the wrong button. All right, Hunter.
All right.
Give us your goodbyes here.
Well, as always, go Navy, beat Temple, hook 'em horns, and eat 'em up cats.
All right.
Thanks
Mr.
for watching,
Coyle.
everybody. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for getting involved in the chat. Remember, you cannot spell college football without a C, an O, another O, one more O, 4 L's, and a B.
There you go. All righty. I want to thank everybody for coming out and watching this stream. It's this side of a train wreck, but we do the best we can. We do the best we can. And remember, our end of season giveaways coming up. Look for that video next week. I'd like to thank Hunter and Lindsay for both showing up this week. Jude had something more important to do, which is fine by us. Jude's still our fourth best member. Whatever. I don't know. He's our vital member of our podcast. I'm doing everything I can to just extend this longer than it needs to be. Remember,
hurry up.
Hurry up. The team that's wins oh my God. It's late. I'm telling you.
The team that wins always wins the game.
Yeah, the team that wins always wins the game. The team that scores the most points always wins the game. I'm going to go put my head in the toilet. Have a good evening.